Hi guys, thank you very much for the support that you've given, for the views, and I'm really grateful for all the questions that are coming through as well, and for the comments. I appreciate them. It helps me to learn as well. Some of the questions I haven't had time to answer, but I'm going to get back to you. I don't have Messenger right now because my phone is constantly complaining about storage space, so I had to let go of some of the apps. But thank you so much. Today I just want to talk about part 2 on why polygamy was done, and I think why it still is being done. But I hope to convince some people of polygamy. Not everyone. Obviously, I've had a lot of guys, say, "Oh, this polygamy thing is not for me." And that's great. I'm happy. I respect everyone's views, but we have a need for it, and there are people who can afford to do it. There are women who are strong enough to go through it as well, and I feel like it's something that we should consider as Africans, because it was actually more of a benefit than we were losing. Kenya's President Uhuru Kenyatta, female president, in 2014 she brought back polygamy in her country. Why she brought it back is because I love that she and Katoni Wamachumba, she's also a member of parliament in Kenya. What they did was they sat down, they saw a need, and they said, okay, more women are having kids, but more women are having kids outside of wedlock. Also, they saw more children are being abandoned, more women are, and the effect was, it was a big effect. But they had to sit down and look at the problem, and they needed to find a solution. And as a female president, who, especially with these feminists going around now fighting so much for women's rights, especially in Kenya, it's very bad. And you would think that she wouldn't even think of it, but she said, honestly, on her part and on both their parts, sitting down and looking at the problem, the only solution is polygamy. More men can actually take on more women, or can marry more women. There's so much that she mentioned. It was the land, it was the fact that children will grow up in happy homes, it was the fact as well that less cheating will be done, less divorces as well. But there's just so many things that this woman came into parliament and looked into and said, no, this is an easy solution. And she looked from past statistics and up in the statistic of now, and she compared it, and I actually love her for that. A lot of people would say polygamy a lot of people actually say polygamy is a bad thing, and I think I want to point this out. A lot of women are very shallow these days, because from the comments that I've received, as well as from speaking and some of the interviews that I've done, a lot of people actually say, no, I can't share my guy because of intimacy. Everyone just keeps pointing to this intimacy issue, and I think that's very immature. But it's something I'll touch on as well, because like I said in my previous videos, polygamy was actually way less about the intimacy. It wasn't even much of a factor, because we all know when we get married, dude, we're not intimate every day. It doesn't happen. You actually have more, or let me just say, you actually have less intimacy than if you were single and hopping around all the time, because you actually find out that marriage is not about intimacy. It's more about love. It's more about the responsibilities. It's more about making sure you've got a happy home. There's so much involved in marriage, and the fact that a lot of women are actually still making comments that it is about the intimacy, that still shocks me. But nonetheless, as well, a very lovely lady that I've been reading her stuff of is Patricia Dixon. Patricia Dixon, she is a professor at the University of Georgia. Why I like her as well is she actually didn't like polygamy. She hated polygamy. In fact, she felt like it was a way of elevating men more and giving men more status. And then she decided to go and live in different countries where polygamy is done. She lived in the polygamous homes to see what their lifestyle is like. And she actually found that the most shocking thing was that polygamy was not about the men at all. She found it was more about the woman, the sisterhood that was created, the beautiful children. She said they actually have such smart kids. Especially with the fact that most polygamous families homeschool their kids. She says compared to kids that go to school, she found them quite intelligent. There's just so many benefits to polygamy. Hence I'm saying, I'm not saying everyone should do it. I'm saying those that could afford, and to the women that have the heart soft enough to actually take in another woman and see the need. Something that we also discovered with my husband while we were here in Joburg, and this is something we've seen quite a lot, because you guys all know Joburg is so saturated with people, career women and stuff. He'd find that when the girls don't know that he's married, they don't mind dating him. Then some of them find out that he's married, and he becomes actually more attractive to women. But when he talks about polygamy to some of them, the first thing they say is, I would never share my man. But when she found out that he was married, they did not mind the idea of having an affair, but they had a great problem with being in a polygamous marriage. And that was quite shocking, of how women's minds are actually the other way around. And from ASAP, hi baby.
Can you use that thing to show the view?
Yes, you may. Okay, so it was just amazing to see how women think. Women, I don't know, but let's not get into that one. Dan Savage also mentioned that another reason why polygamy should be reconsidered for majority men is because men can actually be attracted to more than one woman, and because society has taught us that a perfect life is when you've got a monogamous relationship where everyone loves each other and you do stuff for each other and you just live life for each other. So society has taught us that one woman, it's romance, it's stability. It teaches that you just get the best out of a monogamous relationship. But then ASAP science students actually found that jealousy is higher in monogamous relationships. They found that there's not much trust in monogamous relationship. Stress levels are higher in monogamous relationships. There's so many things that they found. And when they looked at polygamous relationships, it's actually way lower. Jealousy is way lower because they communicate between each other. Trust is way lower as well because they know if the husband isn't with me, he's with her. And if he ever sees another woman outside, that's the thing with a lot of polygamous men. They tend to communicate with their wives and say, hey guys, I've seen another woman, what do you guys think? So they'd be like, no, or they'd be like, yay, okay, cool, let's meet her, let's see. So it actually has a bit more freedom as well. And especially with the kids. Less and less kids go into foster homes, less and less kids goes into orphanages. Studies have also found that there are actually more kids in orphanages or more kids on the streets now than there were 100 years ago, and especially in the countries where polygamy is higher, orphanages are very empty because not many kids are being given up or abandoned. Because and I think it's beautiful. I love the fact that we want to be career women, we want to become the best, we just want to become the best woman of ourselves. We've got one life to live, but at the end of the day we cannot run away from the fact that men are different, women are different. Men have their responsibilities and women have their responsibilities. And trying to measure up and saying that we want to be equal to men which means that there are parts in us that are going to we're going to lack somewhere. We can definitely be equal, but when it becomes to responsibilities, we can't be equal, guys. Women have a place in children's lives, men have a place in children's lives. I remember in I think I don't know if I've done it in one of the videos yet, but it is said that for men back in the day, men actually played a bigger role in the lives of boy children. But now studies found that women actually play a bigger role. And guess what? It has been found that boys of nowadays are actually way softer than boys previously. Boys previously knew they were men and they stood their ground. They would fight, you know. And I actually believe this because my husband, I remember my husband was telling me when he was growing up, if he had a fight in the streets and he came into the house running, his dad would actually say, I go backward and go finish that fight. But women now, when they're raising kids and a child comes from outside crying, they've been beaten up by who and whose child, you find a woman who put on a dress, go to that boy's mother, and they now that it's making it a big issue and it's a parents thing. But you know what the difference of the studies that were found is that men were actually more I don't know, would I use the word paternal, or they were more men. They were more like, you know, it was a man. A man was a man. You knew a man. When he came into the home, a young boy, an 18-year-old or a teenage boy would know, boys nowadays don't know that because they're living with women who when a man comes in, women would say, no, this is the man of the house. You know, an 8-year-old is not the man of the house. And you know, women are doing great job raising their sons. They're coming out very beautiful. But nonetheless, that the whole point of polygamy, guys, is it is done so that our children can grow up in stable homes. They can grow up being taught great responsibility of how to become a man and how to respect a woman. Because if there is no man in the house, they will not respect a man. If there is no woman in the house, they will not know how to respect a woman. There are a lot of homes where this is being abused. And I won't say polygamy is perfect. It's not perfect. But the world has pointed out so much that polygamy is bad, that there's a lot of good families that you don't see. And in future I will be posting up pictures of amazing polygamous families that are doing very well, couples that are blossoming, I'm telling you. And you know, they have happy homes. Polygamous people actually share responsibilities as well. You would never need to hire a nanny to take away another woman's responsibility from her own kids. I mean, guys, no, man. I hope that as I post up more of these videos, that you guys will learn from them. I am perfecting my editing skills, so you'll definitely see some of the interviews as well. It's something I'm practicing, but I want to do it perfect. I'm not very perfect right now, so every time I try to edit, it's all over the place. I'm studying personal training, which is way far from editing, guys, so bear with me. I hope that you are enjoying the videos and you're learning a lot from it, and I hope that you are don't consider yourself. And something that the ASAP science student said as well is that the world has sold us so much of ourselves. They've taught us to be so selfish, to say that I need to be happy. For women, that's what they do. They tell you, I need to be happy, and if I'm not happy, it's not gonna happen. I also have a life. This is my life, and my and I has been sold so much to the world that a lot of women have actually forgotten that, Tina, we are actually more a people's people. We are more a loving. We have a natural instinct to love more and to give more. but that doesn't show off, because society teaches that if you don't take care of yourself, you'll never be happy. So I hope that this video of part 2, I try to make it nice and short, that you would consider some of the things that I am saying, and also just take away as well from the fact that everyone is spreading, Christianity is spreading that God, believes in monogamy. I can tell you now, that's utter nonsense. I'm gonna do a separate video for that one, because that's gonna take quite long. There's a lot of scriptures that just proves that the Lord, he ain't no monogamous guy. But thank you very much for the support. Don't forget to subscribe and like the videos. There'll be more up, and I hope that you guys, if you have any questions, send them to Messenger. I can still see the questions, but I can't respond. Okay, thank you very much. Chikila fan family.